Worry about map scores. They don't have to worry about what happens in other games. No. The only thing that matters is what happens in this best of 3.
Absolutely. And to start things off here on hard lead, spawning over as the red Protoss in the bottom right-hand side, playing for DKZ, it is herO.
Gold chain is baller, by the way.
He is just baller, man.
Gotta say it. Top left side, we are looking at the main base of the man who has great posture, looks incredibly handsome, and is amazing at StarCraft II. Representing Berlin International Gaming, this is ShoWTimE.
Whichever player makes it out of this group, man, they've already done so damn well at Katowice, but neither one of these guys wanted to just make it out the or rather out the group stage. They wanted to go very far. herO, it's been a while since he won a big major tournament here already. Some little sly shenanigans going on with the probes.
Yep, PvP obviously is funny because it comes down to scouting, comes down to proxies, and honestly, getting into this, the reason I'm mega excited, Ben, is I believe this is a true coin toss. I can see ShoWTimE win it, I can see herO win it. I kind of feel that herO has more ways to win because he sees crazy timing windows that we even think don't exist, and he can have a bad start and still make something out of it. But I actually believe that ShoWTimE, and this maybe is a hot take or not, but I think ShoWTimE has a greater understanding of PvP. It's just that herO is incredibly clever and is incredibly deadly. He can be in your face, he can end games when you don't expect it. But I think if games ever slow down, I think ShoWTimE knows exactly where he needs to go. And that's why I think this is a mega exciting series. We can talk about the other Protoss that is obviously on the big international, not quite stage, but online stage very often. It has MaxPax. They both play against him very often. They have very different approaches of how to play against him. We can say that herO does better against MaxPax than ShoWTimE does, but I don't know if that really matters because obviously then it's cross-server, there is a higher ping that gets involved. So I don't think you can look at the results that they have against other great Protoss players and be like, well, seems that herO is better in PvP. No, I don't think that matters. That's online, ping is involved, this is offline. I think they can both beat each other, and we ran into them. herO knows it's going to be very difficult. He even said that he was very scared for this best of 3. ShoWTimE is obviously scared as well, but I'm sure both of them are confident.
Yeah, I mean, going up against MaxPax, like, I know it's funny that we're not casting MaxPax at all and we get to talk about him, but he is a player that if you derail him in some way, you make the life so much easier of yourself. And herO, he is the greatest derailer of all time in PvP, I have to say. And ShoWTimE, he does have a great understanding. We already see some deviation in what they're going for early on. herO with a much earlier natural.
Yep, ShoWTimE to me has always been the ultimate couple stalkers into a couple sentries, or double stalker, double sentry. Sometimes goes for a very quick sentry. Save is good for ShoWTimE. He is very good in defending all lanes. herO is okay with being in the dark a little bit longer, and he actually kind of gets away with a minor lead, right? Because that Nexus was a tiny bit quicker. The Twilight Council is going to be quite a bit quicker, but ShoWTimE is going to have more information that he can work with. Is there a world where ShoWTimE now goes Robo? No, I don't think so. Because if you go Robo against herO, you give up map control. And that is incredibly scary because herO is so good in finding value out of fast-moving units. So I don't think ShoWTimE would ever want to do that. We do have a pylon in the top right side. That Twilight Council is already done. He fired up Blink. I don't know if that got scouted, but he's going to cancel it for a second and go for an incredibly quick Dark Shrine. So I was talking about a Robo. Oh, this is gnarly. And I mean, ShoWTimE needs to scout it, or he needs to be laser sharp with his next hallucination scout and be like, something is just kind of missing. It doesn't feel quite right.
Oh, that is huge. And he does get the scout on it. And that's wonderful. herO, he was playing mind games there. He was producing a Zealot and a Sentry, anything he could afford on those gateways and getting the Blink, as you said. But then he was just like, you know what, cancelling it, because I've seen you scout it, tried to provide so much false information. But ShoWTimE, he's having none of it. He's absolutely ticking all the boxes right now.
Yep, the Dark Shrine is actually still building, and you can warp in DTs, by the way. You can kill this Pylon all you want, but that Dark Shrine will continue to build. And if that Dark Shrine ever comes online, you can warp in DTs immediately. That is something that ShoWTimE knows. ShoWTimE is now working on that Dark Shrine. It's a very tanky building, especially for sentries. 2 Adepts can deal a lot of damage, by the way, in the natural. Dark Shrine in the end gets cancelled, but ShoWTimE could be in a tiny bit of trouble. Can he keep the Adepts out? Yes, but I would still let the Shake finish up any day of the week. And that's exactly what herO is going to do as well. Lost mining time, a little bit of economic damage. The Rico is technically some economic damage as well, because that could have been a Chrono boost. In the end, excellent start for ShoWTimE, but believe it or not, Ben, I still think kind of even.
I don't know where I see both of them. I mean, the blink is still very fast for herO. Probe count very similar. And he does have that Forge online, as you just pointed out, way quicker as well. How many gateways is he going up to, by the way? That seems... All right, 4 gateways before a third. I mean, he does know how to switch gears, doesn't he? And when I say switch gears, between 5 and 6, he's just all about the go, go, go.
Yep, ShoWTimE is warping in a third Nexus. Non-stop hallucinated Phoenix Scouts are important. This is not a move out that ShoWTimE should make. That's not something he knows. Because he might think like, herO is going to go up to 3 bases just like I go up to 3 bases. But I've killed your Adepts and you invested in a Dark Shrine. So I can make this move out. But I don't think that's the move out he should make. Because herO has pretty quick blink as well. And you mentioned those 4 gates, Ben. herO can soon warp in 4 Stalkers. And that means retreating is going to be very difficult for ShoWTimE.
Nice little force field so far. Is able to maybe clinch 1 Stalker, maybe 1 extra. Did get a Sentry as well for his troubles, but yeah, the warp-in potential here is pretty big. Shield battery overcharge is pumped out, but those sentries, I'm not sure they can get out of this one.
I think those sentries are kind of dead. herO is obviously going to have immediate warp-ins. He does not have a pilot on the other side of the map. ShoWTimE is now just going to try to make the most out of those sentries falling, but this is just not a position I think ShoWTimE should really be in, even though he's been doing pretty all right. But you cannot chase because herO has 4 gateways, ShoWTimE only has 2, and ShoWTimE has no way to reinforce on this side of the map.
Oh, and you see this, he's losing a lot of Stalkers for his trouble. This, absolutely, you were right. And look at his bank, Kev. He has a lot of minerals to use, but...
He has never made those gates. He has never made extra gateways. ShoWTimE is now going to warp in all the extra gates, and he is going to get that safety immortal. So I do think ShoWTimE will live. The main reason he will live is because herO was never able to sneak a pylon and a gateway to the other side of the map. If herO had already 1 pylon and another gate somewhere in the center, somewhere on the left side, herO could have just continued attacking, and with 5 gates against 2, there's a real chance that herO could have killed ShoWTimE.
Yeah, and you could see that ShoWTimE was kind of careful there with his obs, because he's like, you must have an observer. He blinks right on in here. He's picking off Stalkers before they can even do anything here. The one-shot potential very high with this number of Stalkers. And herO, oh my goodness,
so crazy.
I did not expect him to go in again just then.
And it actually worked out though, right? Even though he lost initially a few too many Stalkers, in the end he killed 2 more Stalkers. He's got more production at the moment, as ShoWTimE is still waiting for those gateways to come online. And battery overcharge got popped, and it did absolutely nothing, because the Stalker count was high enough to one-shot a unit. But most importantly for ShoWTimE here is obviously just stay alive, right? Don't do anything crazy. Keep those 3 bases up and running. Eventually, you get your own gateways online. Even a second immortal by the looks of it. He's going to head into charge. Meanwhile, herO is like 4 more gates. We're going from 4 all the way to 8 gateways. Did herO ever get charged, by the way? I don't think he did, right? It's a very cheap upgrade, but he never invested in it.
Yeah, he has no intention of going there by the looks of it, but that'd be an absolute great addition for his army with these immortal count going up for ShoWTimE. But he's ahead on upgrades right now, which is great. He's taken a 4th base as well. He's really, really setting the pace of this game, isn't he? And this is exactly what we thought we were going into when we knew it was going to be herO against ShoWTimE.
Yep, ShoWTimE taking the defensive 4th base, herO taking the center 4th base. herO wants to be the aggressor. He's going to get a cannon somewhere as well. I'm curious about that cannon. Okay, just in the main. Maybe worried about a Dark Shrine and a War Prism, dropping a couple of DTs in the main perhaps, or a DT just kind of strolling casually into the main. ShoWTimE has now dropped the Templar Archives, as Mapu is showing us. I do think that herO is going to be in a tiny bit of trouble if he wants to stay... herO, you still don't have charge, mate.
He must have forgot, right? He must have forgot.
It's so cheap as well. Like, even if your plan is to stay on Stalkers for a while, he's making 4 more. He absolutely forgot. Uh-oh. herO's pulling a bit of a zest over here, as he's going to make a lot of Zealots, but the Zealots will not have charge. Like, there are moments where it's okay not to go for charge, because you want to go only Stalkers, you want to play the mobility game. But if we're wiping in 8 Zealots, obviously we do want to have charge.
Absolutely. You can tell that he's really primed and ready to get something done, to be in the face, to get 2 attacks going. But you're against charge lots without your charge lots. Both these armies, in fact, did that War Prism die in the main?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my. Okay, so ShoWTimE so far, absolutely living to his
Zealots.
name.
Sorry, Benny, but 7 more Zealots.
And look how many probes he's been cranking out as well, Kev, here. This is so many. Charge still not started. Like, you must be looking at these boys and you're like, hey, wait a minute, why aren't you guys like Usain Bolt over here? They're freaking, that's me and you running across the field right now. There we go, he starts it finally.
Mostly me. You're pretty quick, Ben. I've seen you.
I might be a bit of a Marine without stim these days.
I have a question for you though, man, because what do you think herO is going to build out of double Robo Bay? I actually think he's going to go Colossus. Am I crazy?
I mean, Disruptor's an obvious choice, but the Stalker count isn't insane. I mean, this army's incredibly clumpy, right? Like, there's so much power in these Zealots. Colossus wouldn't be a bad choice.
I think Colossus are very good in PvP against everything that's not a Disruptor or obviously that flies. And herO likes his Colossus in PvP. It could, of course,
+3 as well. Yep. Great. He's going to go for the Disruptors, and I mean, that's all right as well. Obviously, getting map control, making it difficult to go down certain avenues and corridors. I mean, herO definitely playing a solid game here. Macro-wise, he's far ahead with his eco.
The one beauty of Disruptors is that they don't need extended thermal lens, they don't need any upgrades, they come out a little bit quicker. And ShoWTimE, obviously, at this point, has a much stronger army than herO because we've got those Immortals in the mix, we've got those Archons in the mix, so maybe herO just feels that he needs something that's powerful too. But this was a terrible fight. Those slow Zealots could never survive. herO could fire 2 Novas in the near future. He's working on Disruptor number 3. He's gonna have to give up on this base, so there's no way he currently stops this mighty fine army of ShoWTimE. ShoWTimE is going to be surprised to see Disruptors, as herO is not quite known as the Disruptor master. ShoWTimE, on the other end, I think is actually very good in Disruptor wars.
Certainly is. herO has full vision of the ShoWTimE that's patrolling around his base, and ShoWTimE's army far bigger, far better in a straight-up fight, but will herO give him one? So far, he's taken the defensive posture now, and he's got a lot banking on what these Disruptors can do.
Yeah, this is risky, though, by ShoWTimE. Attacking into batteries, cannons, defensive reinforcements, and rocking into Purification Novas. I think it's a very risky move by ShoWTimE, and so far, it's not working out at all. He has lost, I think, 8 or so Zealots. He has not killed a whole lot, and every second that goes by, that Disruptor count keeps on going up.
He has forced the overcharge, though, so it's not going to be available for this fight. Now, there's 2 fights on either side. First Disruptors do go off, but the connections aren't what he wanted. Honestly, without them here, ShoWTimE can get a big hug going on in this army, and honestly, supplies are dropping for both of them. But I think the bulkiness, these Immortals, though, they're kind of dilly-dallying at the top there.
Yep, the Stalkers blink towards the top side of the Nexus, and that means that Blink is on cooldown. That means that these Immortals can just stand there and wail away. I actually think herO's army is just a bit too fragile. All the Disruptors were exposed, all those Disruptors have gone down, and look at how tanky these Archons are. The Immortals in the back still doing their thing. Game 1 is gonna go in favor of the German Protoss, and what a spicy start that is to this best of 3. It started off with a Dark Shrine. herO did have his moments in this game, but he got an upgrade, and in the end maybe he got a bit carried away, going 5 bases, double Robo Bay, Templar Archives. He basically went from Stalker only to all the great things in Protoss Live, and ShoWTimE says, nope, I'm not gonna make it that easy, you won't get away with it. herO does have +3, but I'm afraid he just doesn't have the army anymore to really get any value out of +3.
Yeah, I mean, herO was a kid in a candy store that just wanted a bit of everything, right? And then he got fat and just wasn't able to hold off anything that ShoWTimE threw at him. I mean, this counterattack's huge, the Immortals going in. herO's just getting absolutely slammed in this game. ShoWTimE with absolute stellar defense.
Yes, man. That is exactly what happened over here. GG gets called. ShoWTimE with the fist pump takes the 1-0 lead. I have no idea how you come up with those things, Benny, but all right, back on track. ShoWTimE with a solid game, great scouting obviously, not just with the hallucinations, but you can really see that ShoWTimE is not a lazy player. Even if he has all these sentries, he's still gonna send a Stalker to the corner of the map, and he found that Dark Shrine. I thought ShoWTimE was in a bit of trouble here. Initially this went alright, but it was obvious that he couldn't stick around too long, because herO would have more reinforcements and he had more gateways. But in the end, ShoWTimE got away with it. He stabilized with those Immortals, the 3-base setup. And yeah, herO went from Stalker only and a couple slow Zealots to double Robo Bay, Templar Archives, +3, 5 bases. And ShoWTimE says, wait a minute, mate. Meanwhile, I've been making all these expensive units that can fight all along. You made nothing, and now you're trying to go from nothing to everything. I've got something to say about it. This was not an easy way to close out this game, because running into a Protoss that's ready for you is always scary. But hey, those balls did get a tiny bit smaller, right? And where in the old days, maybe you get multiple Archons and Immortals, now you got a few less. Beautiful engagement by ShoWTimE as he takes the very important 1-0 lead.
Absolutely. I mean, it wasn't easy. Like, going into a series like that and your opponent's been taking a Dark Shrine in a corner of the map. He's been showing you that he wasn't doing it. He was going Blink. Then it's like, oh, he eventually goes Blink anyway. I mean, herO's playstyle is difficult, but ShoWTimE had good reads on what was going on in that game, and honestly, forcing out the shield battery overcharge with those kind of scrappy before the engagement, but then going in and getting the big hug around, that was key.
He lost a couple Zealots, but that's okay. If you have a Warp Prism sitting there, you can warp in 10 more Zealots and just immediately go for round 2 with a tiny window where battery overcharge, believe it or not, guys, can be on cooldown. In the bottom left side of ShoWTimE Katowice, if you want him to advance, you need to make some noise for this man. He needs your love and your support, because he needs to win 2 PvPs in a row. This is Dragon Kaizi Gaming's herO.
And one map away from making it out of the group of death. If he wins this one, he's above herO and Reyna to make it in 3rd place. It is big ShoWTimE!
We had dinner with him on the opening day of IEM Katowice, even way before any of the games were done, even before the media pieces were made. And he said, man, I'm actually feeling really good about my play. I'm very happy with my level. He said, any other group, I'd be pretty confident in making a statement I'm going to advance. Group D, he's like, obviously a bit unlucky. He's like, but I'll tell you guys one thing, and he said it word for word. I won't make it easy on them. And I think no matter, Ben, what happens here in Game 2 and Game 3, ShoWTimE has absolutely not made it easy on anyone in this group.
No, he's absolutely been delivering, and he's been playing so damn well. Like, he's stepped it up a bit, hasn't he? Like, that series against Reyna was absolutely fantastic. Didn't go down fighting at all and actually managed to take him out in what most would see as a very big surprise. But every player knew that this wasn't just a 4-horse race in this group with the big dogs. ShoWTimE also has something very big to say.
Yep, and then Cyan showed up his phone. He's like, hey, Maru.
Take this.
Welcome to the tournament. It was like, well, okay, we expected craziness in Group D, but nothing that crazy. In the end, unfortunately, did not work out for Cyan. It definitely is working out so far for ShoWTimE, as we've got an interesting start here to this super important Game 2. Both players shying away from those Stalkers, those Sentries. We're opening up with 2 Adepts. herO is actually going to go for the in-base Robo. Could be all out, like Triggered Robo and try to end it. ShoWTimE, if he stays on 1 base, man, I actually think Stargate openings very good against Robo openings. Not as good as they were in like Heart of the Swarm, Wings of Liberty, where it's like, okay, this is a monstrous advantage. But I think there are some ways where this will go well for ShoWTimE. However, if ShoWTimE expands quickly, and by the looks of that probe, I have the feeling he does want to go up to a natural quick, then it could be hard, right? Because if you make an Oracle, you open up with multiple Adepts and an Oracle, you're not going to be able to defend the natural Nexus.
Oh, herO gets the better exchange here in this little Adept skirmish. Gets the first shot and gets the same 2 shots on the Adept. So already a big deal, because you've got to remember, ShoWTimE didn't scout with a probe.
Nope.
So he has absolutely 0 idea. It's very important for these Adepts to survive. And while they can't survive here, can they get the info?
Well, the Adept is close to the natural, and I think ShoWTimE is just going to try to send a Shade into the natural to confirm whether or not there is a Nexus here. At this point, he's going to see no Nexus, and if I was ShoWTimE now, I would never ever drop a Nexus. He hasn't done it yet. He was going up the minerals, and there you guys can see it. High ground battery. Battery in the main too. That is not something that's really going to come into play in a very useful way immediately. That almost gives me the feeling that he's worried about a proxy Stargate or something, but that's not what's happening over here, man.
It's not what's happening at all. And is this Oracle number 2 that he's making here? I mean, he's going to get confirmation on what he's up against, and at least the army's on the other side of the map, so he doesn't have to truly worry just yet. But herO's doing a good job of just utilizing these 2 Adepts on the map very nicely.
Yep, what is very big though for ShoWTimE is that he has decided to drop a robotics facility. If you have your own defensive robo, even if it's a whole lot later, if you're defending on 1 base, you should never die. If ShoWTimE would have warped in the Nexus, he could have been in all sorts of trouble. Now it might get uncomfortable, and there is a world where herO stands at the bottom of that ramp, kills that pilot on the low ground, starts chipping away at your gateways. But if you're ShoWTimE, losing your gates is annoying, but if you have 2 Oracles out, it's also very scary for herO to expand. And even though this is 1 base against 1 base, ShoWTimE is actually going to mine a little bit more because he has full saturation, all 24 probes. Alpha Star in the house, anybody?
I mean, all right, herO's moving out across the map with a decent squad here. That one Immortal really packs a punch, and there's quite a bit of infrastructure here that... Oh, lost an Oracle. That is brutal. I didn't expect him to lose either one of those.
He should have never lost it because there were only 2 Stalkers in the main, right?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Stasis Trap on the natural, but will this game get there? What was that?
Stalkers, but still a bit of a mistake. As we have this Shade, herO trying to figure out what is happening here. If I was herO, I mean, you can do 2 things, right? You can either try to just take down these gates and then just send it into the main, but it's so risky to fight near shield battery. Adepts can go through force fields. We're gonna see a Stargate with a Phoenix temporarily in production as well. Phoenix can obviously put a tiny bit of pressure on the War Prism, can also lift the Immortal. I think herO should expand. It wasn't his plan initially, but I do believe that expanding here is the right call. herO does not want to expand. herO just wants to send it. I mean, that's kind of how we know and love herO. It's hell or glory. He doesn't want anything in between, and he's gonna go for Resonating Glaive Adept, and that's actually a very cool call.
It's a really cool call, especially as he's just taken out all the gateways of ShoWTimE. Like, no longer can get chunky boy units like your Stalkers on the field. And if this game keeps on going, you've just got Immortals to deal with this, they don't actually deal that much damage to these Adepts. And this is always nasty to be on the back foot in this matchup.
And this is going to surprise ShoWTimE as well, because I don't think that he's going to expect it in Adept Glaive. That's just such a bizarre call. There are some builds out there where people like to go Glaives, and then it's like 2-base Immortal Glaive, War Prism, Sentry Immortal, that stuff is cool. But normally if you're herO here, you either go into Blink Stalkers or you expand. I think those are the things that ShoWTimE is worried about. It is normal that a bunch of Adepts are there, because Adepts are those tanky units, like you said. Immortals, it's not that they die immediately against Adepts, but Adepts just survive for a while, and Adepts do kill other Adepts very quickly. Maybe at this point ShoWTimE is like, man, you're making a lot of Adepts. Like, I know that Adepts are good in tanking and everything, and they kill a Sentry, they kill Adepts, but this is a ridiculous amount of Adepts. And I think if he spots those three as well, ShoWTimE might start thinking about it. But it's one of these things where even if you know, what do you do if you're ShoWTimE here?
I don't know what you do. I mean, he can't re-wall off or anything, so those Adepts are easy pick, or easy to get through. He could start using his own Adepts to use the Shade at the ramp just to hold it off, just to stop the swell, right? Because you don't want the Adepts to get on top of you, but even that, it's just kind of a bandage on the wound when the wound's already there.
Yep, herO could obviously always fire up Blink as well, but I think herO doesn't want to make the same mistake as he did in Game 1, where he just got a bit over-eager, a bit excited, did too many things.
Ooh.
As ShoWTimE has dropped a Pro probably with the War Prism. Does he have his own War Prism?
Yeah, he does. He was using the War Prism down on the ramp here for the Immortals, so use that probe to shimmy on over, and as if he's taking an Island Expo here, getting a lot of his own Adepts as well. And you might be like, well, they're just significantly worse, right? He has a lot more meat to tank for them, so they can still deal a lot of damage to the Adepts without necessarily dying instantly, but
Adepts with Glaives are sick, though.
They're super sick, man. They're like stimmed Marines as how fast they attack, but oh, that is so many shades just constantly going up, and herO's been very patient about not actually sending it.
Yep, it is important that herO eventually maybe hallucinates a Phoenix or an Oracle and takes a little look, because obviously ShoWTimE should not be this chill with being on one base. And if it was one base, then he should have something that's incredibly scary, like a RoboBay going down for Disruptors, because that is the ultimate answer against Adepts. Archons are kind of good, but ShoWTimE doesn't have an Archon economy at the moment. He doesn't even have a Twilight Council to begin with. So I actually think the best building that ShoWTimE could drop here, even if it would feel uncomfortable, is a Robotics Bay to warp in 1 or 2 Disruptors, because Adepts, they just don't split very well against Disruptors, or Protoss players are just not good at it.
You can see herO looking for something, by the way. He checked that gold base. He's like, have you got a cheeky gold here? And ShoWTimE's like, no, I don't have that cheeky gold. Then he can maybe check the other gold, but so far, I mean, ShoWTimE's going to get away with it. Do you think he's going to use a recall as well over that base? Because right now, there's nothing for herO to really say, like, hey, man, I've taken something very cheeky over there. Like, he checked the 1 gold and that was it. This could be something that really bites him in the butt.
Yeah, it's gonna take a little while, though, as we have a Stasis Trappy, that one leftover Oracle still being a bit annoying. Oh, whoa, he let the Shade finish up. That was not on purpose. We could see that as well. He's like, wait a minute, all my Adepts are there, because the rest of the army was still so far away. I think herO just wanted to scout initially. He did see not everything there. As this one Oracle is going to get picked off. That's a big pickoff for herO. He finally doesn't have to worry about that Oracle anymore. I think it is just a matter of how many Adepts did he lose there, though? Like, I feel like he lost a decent amount, right?
It must have been like a good 5 or 6, right? Okay, 7 Adepts have fallen so far. I mean, resources lost have incredibly even between them, but now herO doesn't have that contain anymore. ShoWTimE's free to roam the map, but the economy still from both of them is incredibly low.
Yeah, it's very even. It's low, but it's very even. ShoWTimE obviously should know that this was Resident Glaive Adept, because all these Adepts were in the main and they fired and they were orange. I don't really understand this move out of ShoWTimE. I don't think ShoWTimE has the kind of army to fight here.
I don't think so either, you know, like...
herO has more, and herO has a very important upgrade.
Yeah, and there's no blink available, and even if you did have blink, it's like, well, good luck getting away from those adepts with your big boys.
I would let Shade finish up if I was herO here, and let's see if herO does it. herO is going to do it. There are a couple of force fields. We're going to have some War Prism Micro on both sides, but there are so many adepts in the mix of herO. There's a couple of Stalkers as well. These Stalkers do need to figure out what they want to kill. Nice pick up there by ShoWTimE, but it just feels that it's a numbers game, and I think the numbers are still in favor of herO, as he's got the better adepts. Why did ShoWTimE take this fight?
I have no idea, Kevin. I mean, the Immortals still kept alive for herO, and I mean, the War Prism will run away, but he took a much better trade there, and rightly so. He had much better upgraded units.
There were 3 Immortals on the side of ShoWTimE against 1 Immortal on the side of herO. Like, that's the only thing you can say that ShoWTimE had going for himself. But there were so many adepts with glaives, and the armies were incredibly similar. And then one person having a big upgrade is most likely going to come out on top. I even think that Shade could have been a bit better, right? Because
yeah, it could have been on the army instead of to the side of it.
Yeah, and then he only got the Stalkers. Imagine if the Adept Shade finishes up and it's right on top of Immortals. It's right on top of the Adepts of ShoWTimE. I think that herO messed it up a tiny bit, and he still won the fight.
Yeah, absolutely. And now he's the one with superior attack as well. He's got that Robo Bay online, which is going to be pretty good in these low eco situations. But ShoWTimE's not down and out just yet. And look at herO here. He's like, all right, what's actually happening here? Have you gone behind this wall? And it's like, well, yes, I have. And I think herO's starting to sniff something out here.
Did he already scout it? Did he confirm it? Or is he just thinking about it? No, he's just thinking about it.
How do you like this switch into Phoenix, by the way?
I think it's one of these where ShoWTimE feels he's got no choice. I think he thinks it's too late to go into Blink Stalkers, so then he's going to play Phoenix Immortal. And Phoenixes are pretty good against Adepts, by the way, in high numbers. But herO is about to scout it. herO made a Robo Bay. It's absolutely not the moment for him to make Disruptors. Could have been the other way around, right? ShoWTimE making Disruptors to deal with the Adepts. herO has a Robo Bay. I don't think he's going to use it. All that herO should do is spam Blink Stalkers and Zealots. Maybe get Zealot Charge, or just keep on making Adepts and Stalkers. That's fine too, but that's a wild guess.
4 Immortals still out for ShoWTimE. Like, that's definitely a good bunch, and he is getting ready to fight here. Did take out those minerals nicely, and oh my goodness, that is a big blink onto these Immortals. There's no Warp Prism for ShoWTimE, right? He can't keep them alive against this much blink, but is he getting too eager here? I mean, even the Disruptor going down, this is huge. This is like throw for throw going on over here.
That wasn't the blink, herO. Those are the blinks we've seen him make many times in the past, but as you said, that was 4 Immortals for ShoWTimE. herO had 1 Disruptor, but ShoWTimE kept on lifting up that Disruptor. He's now making a 2nd Disruptor. I really don't think that's necessary. I think there are other ways to deal with Immortals. Just Zealots and Stalkers, I think, would get the job done. Because I feel like ShoWTimE already has the answer for your low Disruptor count, because he's got those Phoenixes. And you could see that he lifted up the Disruptor, lifted it up again as well. Not a single Nova was fired.
And the Immortal as well. The 1 Immortal in the mix of herO just got no damage done. I mean, those Phoenixes were absolute kings in that match.
That was definitely not the fight for herO, who's now going to take the top left side. We've gone full Clown Fiesta PvP. I'm taking a look at Kalaris. He is loving life. This is everything that he has missed. It's like, is this my boy Haas? No, it's not Haas. It's herO. I don't even know why you want to take that base. It has a rich Vespian Geyser, Ben, or as you would call them, the very rich Vespian Geyser, but does he want to spam some Archons? Would be pretty good, to be fair, but it's going to take a little while.
Oh, I'm scared for herO here. I mean, both... Okay. herO does return with all those Stalkers, just leaving 1 behind. I like that play, but these Disruptors have pounced on here, Kev. This is a huge attack, and there is a shield battery overcharge.
ShoWTimE!
Yeah, he can kill that so easily with these Immortals.
He's not doing it.
He's not doing it at all. I mean,
my goodness,
herO does blink forward, but at what cost? At what cost? They're both absolutely annihilating each other. 10 supply in it. Lots of probes falling, though. I mean, ShoWTimE at this point is actually sort of winning the fight.
No, that was not good at all. If he would have gone down that battery, I was with you, Ben, then I think it would have been a perfectly fine fight for ShoWTimE, but he did not see the battery, or he thought he killed it and he didn't kill it. So after herO makes a big throw in the top right side, it is ShoWTimE who makes a bad attack into the natural of herO. If he would have gone down that overcharged battery with his Immortals, they were hogging the battery, then he would have taken a perfectly fine fight. Now, sure, he has a worker lead, but I think he's in trouble against all these Blink Stalkers, because what saved him previously were those 4 Immortals. Currently, the Immortal count is 0 on the side of ShoWTimE. His Stalkers don't have Blink, and Phoenixes, you know I love them, but they won't cut it against all these Blink Stalkers. Katowice just hits different. We had a conversation with Rainer earlier, and he said, guys, even at DreamHack Masters Atlanta or Jönköping, you play there, it's not the same as playing in Poland. and you can see it, even the best players in the world are making some mistakes. herO dodges a serious bullet after he was on the verge of being eliminated there after that bad blink into all those immortals. But it's ShoWTimE who runs into the natural and does not gun down a battery. And battery overcharge is big in every matchup, but it's bigger in PvP than in any of the other three.
I mean, that was amazing. Like when I said like ShoWTimE won the fight, he killed so many pros, but it was herO obviously getting the better end of it, because this game, it's so low economy, keeping your army alive. I mean, this had so many funny moments in this one single game. Like herO's not making it easy for ShoWTimE. I mean, ShoWTimE's doing some solid stuff, but still, I really feel that if he just killed that battery right there and then...
He takes an amazing fight, because he had a bunch of immortals, was stalkers only. Maybe in the end herO stabilizes, but he stabilizes with a lot less, so he can't immediately run to the other side of the map. I mean, this was obviously the blink that did not really work out, that Disruptor was flying, that Immortal was flying. This was not the attack for herO, but in the end he gets away with it. You may not like it, but this right here is what peak PvP performance looks like.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be so good in so many freestyle situations. And if there's a freestyle Protoss god out there, it's this man on camera. Like, he's just so good at going on the fly, making your life so damn difficult, being in your face. And that's what he did for a long time, that game. ShoWTimE, with a pretty clutch play of going for that kind of Island S expansion below his base. And he got away with it. Yep. He got away with it for a long time. And he made a game out of it. But what is going to happen on game 3? I think it's herO to finish things off.
Yeah. I believe you're correct. It was definitely one of these moments where you could see heroes like something just doesn't feel quite right, but the minerals have not been mined out, so how can you possibly have that base? And I think eventually the Spidey sense are like, obviously he had a War Prism, he was saving those immortals. Is there a chance that he picked up a probe and he dropped it on the right side? And that's how he got the Nexus there. That is what happened. That was an incredibly fun, entertaining game. You can see, obviously, both players very stressed. herO also with that accidental shade finish up.
Oh, yeah.
While we were enjoying his first-person view, you could see him as well. He's like, whoa! He's like, well, I was there. How am I doing? It's like not that bad, actually, but probably not the play. You can really see that these series hit hard, and even the most experienced players, ShoWTimE, he's been at it for a very long time, and herO, he's been around since the dawn of days, won plenty of IEMs. You can see that Katowice does something to these video gamers. Top right side, we are looking at the main base of the man who dodged the bullet there in game 2. He's still alive, and if he wins this best of 3, he's gonna make it into the playoffs. This is Dragon Geyzy Gaming's herO.
And one map on the line to guarantee a spot into the top 12, where 10K is guaranteed. Spawning on the bot left, representing big, it is ShoWTimE.
That game 1, I think, is really the kind of PvPs that ShoWTimE likes to play, even though he was playing with fire, right? And he made that move out with only 2 gateways, but that's the stuff that he practiced, that's the stuff that he feels is okay. You go up to 3 bases, Archon, Zealot Charge, Immortal. He's like, nice, everything kind of went according to plan. Game 2, that's not a game that anybody plans. Like, there's so much weird stuff happened there in that game. And it's kind of like, before you know it, you're playing herO's game, where we're 10 minutes in and the work account is like, what, 34 against 33? And you're like, wait a minute. ShoWTime's like, this is not what I practiced. This is not what I wanted to end up in. And I think because of that, he's going to go back to Stalkers here in game 3. Because the adepts, they open the door for those weird PvPs. They are incredibly fun for us to watch, but I think in anything that's weird, not totally standard, herO just has the upper hand.
Yeah, I mean, he's so good at freestyling, man. Like, whenever you watch herO, sometimes, you know, he can look amazing, that series against Reyna, or he can look like he's just doing whatever. Like, it doesn't look practiced at all, but you know what? He's so good at it. He's so good at making his opponents uncomfortable, and that's why he has the highest attack rating score, equal with Clem, in this tournament.
Yeah. herO is forever a mystery, but he's the mystery that we love, and he's the one that gives a lot of Protoss players out there a crazy amount of joy, excitement, and every now and then a little bit of pain as well. Seems that herO is up to no good, because he opens up Zealot Stalker, but nobody really opens up Zealot Stalker. Then he cancels it, and he goes for the Sentry. I guess he didn't want to reveal to ShoWTimE that he's opening up with a sentry, but if you only use one out of the 2 gateways, that's kind of a bit of a tell. So in case that probe was around, he's like, oh, look, 2 gateways are working, not a big deal. And then right when that probe is out of vision, you cancel the Zealot, you make the sentry, and yeah, it's the little things. Is this going to have an impact on this game? Most likely not. But yeah, every little inch matters, right? And if herO feels that this is going to give him the tiniest of tiny advantages, it is okay. He has now cancelled that sentry too, is that correct? No, it's on the corner of his main, right?
Ooh, where's that robo going down from ShoWTimE? Because now he's the one with the very early robo and a 3rd gateway, Kevin.
ShoWTimE doesn't trigger robo very often, but hey.
When he does it maybe some of the best in the world. And I mean, how these matchups collide, I'm kind of liking the build order for ShoWTimE, right?
Absolutely, especially if herO doesn't scout a whole lot. If herO goes for a Twilight Council, herO is going to go for extra sentries. And you could say that if there is ever a build that you should be able to hold this with, it's maybe this one. It'd be a lot worse if herO would have gone for a Stargate or something that doesn't really come into play. It is going to be couple Stalkers, couple Sentries into a Twilight. Here, ShoWTimE lost a big PvP in Game S8, and I forgot who it was against, but it was basically in this scenario. And he said like, it's just kind of a builder loss. I was like, yeah, but you have the Sentries, the Stalkers. I thought it's doable.
It might be herO actually.
Yeah, I think it might be herO. And he said like, nah, that he's like, it's just if the 3-gate robo player does it properly, there's not a whole lot I can do. Did he cancel the Twilight? herO scouted with the hallucinated Phoenix, cancels his Twilight Council, goes for his own defensive robo. So he gets the scout. And at this point, he's just going to try to buy time. This is most likely going to be a very short game. Will ShoWTimE break herO, or will herO survive on 2 bases, get an Immortal out, after that Immortal will War Prism, and then he is cooking. Every single unit is incredibly important here. This is so stressful to watch.
It's so stressful because these sentries, they have a big job to do to keep those Stalkers at bay, to keep his units alive. And remember, every second that goes by, if herO can get out either an Immortal or a Warp Prism, he makes his life so much easier. And honestly,
I think Immortal first always, but after one Immortal, I think you want to go for the Prism.
Yeah, and I mean, he's doing just that. But this amount of Stalkers, I mean, ShoWTimE's really on a clock. He's on a massive clock.
Here come the force fields, and ShoWTimE actually has a lot of Stalkers on the other side. Does ShoWTimE think of elevating the rest of the Stalkers across those force fields? ShoWTimE says, no, I am not going to do that. So he picks up. I don't think ShoWTimE lost a unit there, but the problem is that Immortal is about to come out, and killing an Immortal is going to be very, very difficult.
It certainly is, but now he's on top of these units, and he's actually getting really big volleys off, and I think he's got a good number to one-shot, but Big Daddy Immortal's coming in from downtown over there. He has potential to kind of get stuck in that area, but tell you what, ShoWTimE's getting a lot of damage done. I mean,
but he needs to kill the Immortal, and I don't know if he's going to kill that Immortal that quickly. He really goes for it, but he's losing so many units, and ShoWTimE has not killed Big Daddy yet. That Immortal is just firing away for days. In the end, it does go down, but I'm afraid that ShoWTimE has lost his critical mass of Stalkers. Is that robo producing something of herO? Yes, it is producing a War Prism. I think at this point, herO was wishing, I should have got double Immortal.
Yeah, he's getting another Immortal now, so realizing that he needs the firepower. But yeah, I mean, Shield Battery Overcharge is going to be online again fairly soon, right? And I mean, the numbers are fairly even here, and lots of those Stalkers are very, very bruised from ShoWTimE.
An incredibly big overcharge there by herO, and that Immortal stayed alive for a very long time. I don't know how many shots it got off, but it's a crazy amount. And ShoWTimE knows that it's so hard to run into that natural again because his units are already a bit battered and bruised. But he also knows every second he waits, it gets worse and worse. ShoWTimE might be thinking of an expand, but he might feel that it's just too late. I think expanding is better than losing everything. Like maybe just, yeah, you have to think desperate times call for desperate measures. A proxy nexus, a Stargate transition, right? Anything you can think of, but I don't think ShoWTimE is going to break herO here.
No, he definitely isn't, and herO's feeling confident, right? Moving out onto the map, takes out this proxy pile as well, getting more Immortals, but the thing is, if herO, I mean, ShoWTimE goes for a
doubling
expand.
Down.
Yeah, I mean, look, you can feel it. You can feel it on his face and here, in his body language.
It's risky though that herO is here. It's actually kind of risky that herO is here. Imagine if ShoWTimE goes down the Prism, but he won't. herO with double Immortal saves, cancels the Twilight, builds the robot.